Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first edition of RFL Live. This is episode 1, and it is our season preview. And, of course, we're previewing round 1 at Australia for RFL season 4, both Tier 1 and Tier 2. Today, I'm joined by Morgs and RA.
Hello. Good to be here for the first ever episode of RFL Live, and I'm excited for what's to come this season.
And, alright. If you're still there yet.
Yeah, I don't think R8's here.
Yeah, I think that's gone horribly right. He was here a second ago, we promise.
I don't know why it disconnected.
Okay, well, you're back now, right? Okay, say hello.
Oh, hello. Well, this is on-the-spot things then.
Yeah, right, okay, so, of course, this is live, and this is going to happen. So, episode 1, we're here for the season preview for RFL Season 4, and we're going to be giving a rundown of all the drivers in Tier 1 and Tier 2, what we expect, and we have a couple of predictions at the end as well. So, obviously, this is the first round of our 21 race season. It's the Australian Grand Prix. We're at RFL, we're running the official calendar. So, Saturday, Tier 2, 7 PM, and Tier 1 is on at 9 PM. So, if we start onto the grid, I won't do too much with the Tier 1 grid since I am in it. So, I think Morgs is our Tier 1 specialist for the moment, but of course we'll have an open discussion on each team. So, we'll have a go. So, first team is Mercedes AMG Petronas Motorsport, of course. The Silver Arrows, BMG Nomad and Chandler Sater are two drivers in the team. So, what do we expect from them this season?
Well, personally for me, I'm not sure what to expect from these guys because Nomad was bottom of the time trials in terms of the Tier 1 drivers. So at the moment, he's probably at the disadvantage because on paper, he is the slowest in Tier 1. But then again, race pace could be completely different. And then you've got Chandler, who was very quick at the start of this game and very quick in the time trials. He was 9th fastest overall. He's one to watch out for because he's new to the league. And when there's someone new to the league, that can easily rock the boat. And also, I know that Chandler and Nomad get on quite well. So how will that team dynamic work? And you've got a driver who I think we could have a number 1-2 dynamic here, with Chandler being the number 1. And with this 1-2 dynamic, will this actually benefit them as they may work together better? I think this one's one to really watch out for, just because I know there's friendship there and there's a pace difference there as well.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Chandler, of course, he does a lot of racing in US leagues, so I don't know how many European leagues he does, but of course he is here with us in RFL, and they're both Bossman Gaming drivers as well. It's a little thing, so of course they have that connection together, and sort of, I think they both appreciate the pace difference that is between the two. So I think Chandler could really do bits in Tier 1 this season if he could, I think, regularly score points, would be my guess. And Damon would potentially be someone on the lower half of the grid. But in the RFL Social we did at Brazil, just last weekend, last Saturday, Chandler didn't turn up, but we had BMG Nomad, Damon, and he was pretty good. He had some good pace. He just racked up a lot of penalties, and if he can continue that in this season, he's potentially going to finish well on track, but end up losing a lot of places in penalties.
I also do want to mention that Damon, or Nomad, he's changed his gamer tag for anyone wondering, is our lead to promotion because Schweiz's left and he would have been in Tier 2 anyway, so therefore Damon is the highest person from last season in the Tier 2 standings to be into Tier 1. So he's a leading Tier 2 promotion in Tier 1. And how will that affect him? Will that put any pressure on this season, or will there be no pressure? That's something we're yet to find out, because we got Callum and JJ, who were in Tier 2 last season. Is there any pressure on them because they finished low down, or is there more pressure on them because they finished lower down? Yeah. We'll get onto them a bit later, but Nomad being that lead Tier 2 promoter, that could put some pressure on him.
Yeah, no, it really could. Of course, in that case, what we have is what we've ended up with in that team is a completely new driver to RFL and someone who's just been promoted up from Tier 2. So they're both going to be looking to really make their mark into Tier 1 this year. So that'll be something, obviously, to really look at. So if anyone has anything else to say about this team, we can move on.
All right.
Yeah. Well, you guys covered it pretty much, but yeah, it's just interesting to see that. Well, Nomad. I think his progression through Tier 2 last season was pretty good as well. He finished second in the standings, so yeah, it'll be like you guys mentioned, the top. He will be the top standings
Tier
to
2
jump
driver,
into
yeah.
Tier 1
Yeah.
this season. So yeah, looking forward to see what he can do. But yet again, Chandler,
Yeah.
like you guys mentioned, is yeah, we'll keep an eye on this team pretty much because yeah, they are an interesting prospect, I would say.
Yeah. Across the right, let's move on to Ferrari.
Yep. So, Ferrari, let me just get my sheet up.
Yeah, I'm also going to do the transition. There we go. So, King Liam, 25, and UK Dark Predator racing for the Scuderia for this season. So that's a solid lineup there. It's got to be one of the favourites, surely, for the Constructors' Championship.
And I would agree with that. We saw the dynamic there last season at McLaren, and they finished third place in the standings last season, the constructors, only behind Renault and Mercedes. And I believe they worked well together. We saw at one point they were both forming a constructors charge, and unfortunately, because of how powerful Renault turned out being, it was impossible. But up to Hungary, they looked really good, and then they had a poor run of form towards the end of the season. But if they can continue a good run of form throughout the season, these two drivers, they could really be a threat to anybody in this league and the favourites for the championship as well, which we'll probably get onto later. But with Liam, he's probably still feeling a bit gutted after season 2, where he was a long, long way ahead, and he then lost the title to Danny after Danny went on a really good run of form and Liam went on a really bad run of form. And a 70-point gap was turned around. Liam really wants to get an RFL title, and it shows. He's teaming up with one of the best drivers on the grid. I think this season that's going to be the driver lineup in Tier 1 to watch for.
Yeah, no, I very much agree with that. Listen, they are a pair of, and I've raced them a lot of the time, being in Tier 1 as well for the last 2 seasons. And yeah, with both of them, we've had some pretty, I think it's fair to say, pretty tremendous scraps. So look out for. All right, again, if you have anything to comment on this.
Well, obviously, I haven't really seen much of Tier 1 yet, but yeah, I've heard of Dark Predator, King Liam, both. They will go for it for the championship for sure. And looking at the standings, King Liam, he wasn't, well, obviously, with a few did not attend races, and some of that would have played in a factor to the championship. Who knows where he would have been if he attended those races?
Yeah.
But yeah, this lineup is also looking very, very strong indeed, like you guys mentioned. And yeah, that's pretty much it that I have to say.
I do want to mention that King Liam, he was second fastest in the time trials, and he was only 3 tenths away from Jolly over the 3 tracks, and that's a lot closer than anybody else is in the field at the moment to Jolly, who we'll get onto later.
Yeah.
Dark Predator, though, he was a bit further down. He's in 14th place, but again, he was so quick last season. He could just be putting a couple laps together, just getting himself into Tier 1, not pushing himself anymore, and not showing his hand like maybe Jolly and Liam are, being right at the top of the time trial leaderboards. I think that's it. Dark Predator's one to watch with that. He could well be like a midfield runner, by his time trial pace, but then again, he could well just be sandbagging a little bit,
That's
not
true.
pushing full potential, and he could well be much quicker. But Liam, though, he's showing some strong pace early on in this game, and he's definitely going to be quick.
Yeah. King Liam's going to be
Yeah.
someone who he's going to really want that championship finally. So yeah, he is definitely one to watch. So we're going to move on to the next team now. That's Aston Martin Red Bull Racing. That's Callum G 247 and JJ Rocks, as far as I'm aware. Teaming up
Yep.
for the season in the Red Bull. So again, both of them were in Tier 2 last season. Correct me if I'm wrong there. And
Yep.
they were both fairly solid drivers in that, and front runners. So they're gonna be another. This is a pair of Tier 2 drivers who have just moved up into Tier 1. They've probably wanted to be here for quite a while, so they're gonna really want to lay down a mark and really show what they've got.
Yep, I would agree with that. I was obviously racing in Tier 2 last season, so I raced alongside both these drivers and as a teammate to Callum G. Callum was okay during last season's Tier 2, but then again, a lot of Tier 2 drivers were too quick for that tier last season.
Yeah.
I'll happily admit that, and he deserves a Tier 1 drive and a Tier 1 opportunity. But the end of last season, let's just read through his results. So Britain, he finished second. Germany, he didn't attend, but then first in Japan, first in Brazil, and fourth in Italy. But he did have a collision with Axe Curve when he was on for first or second place in that race. And I ended up taking Italy win when I was ages behind him before that. And he was much quicker, so he probably could have even won that as well. So the end of last season for Callum G was amazing. And I think he deserves this opportunity now in Tier 1, having had that good season. And JJ Rocks, on the other hand, didn't have an amazing Tier 2 season last season. He won early on in Bahrain. He looked like a championship contender, but then with a lot of didn't attend and a couple of retirements and disconnections, he really struggled to get enough points to mount any sort of championship charge. But he did claim 3 podiums in 5 races that wasn't his fault. He retired. There was a disconnect there.
Yeah.
So 3 podiums in 5 races. I think he deserves a Tier 1 chance as well. I really want to see how this goes for both of them, and they were both very quick in the time trials, 6th and 7th respectively.
Yeah, Callum G, he's as you say, he's a driver who has I think recently he's really got some really solid pace. Recently joined Shazoo esports team, leaving of course Bossman, and JJ of course as well. They're 2 incredibly solid drivers there, and as you said, Tier 2, a lot of their drivers should have been Tier 1. A lot of them would have been easily mid Tier 1 last year. So in season 3, so yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they act as a team. I think they should be a fairly competitive team. Should be up there. I think regularly scoring points. I think so. Yeah, they're going to really be hoping for a good season. So if anyone has anything else to add, we can move on.
Yeah.
We good?
Yeah. What do you guys make of this pairing, though? I mean, like the dynamic between the two.
Well, should I start?
Yeah.
Personally, I mean, I speak to them both. I know they're both good friends.
Yeah.
So I think it would work. And they're both very close on pace, where that's going to cause more problems than it actually gives, because you have now that equal status, which you're going to get in most teams, but you're going to now have them having to either split strategies or come in to pits on like different laps when they're so close on track, which they could well be, and that could ruin another person's strategy going an extra lap or a lap shorter. So it could really cause a bit of tension that way. But I think because they're such good friends and they're both so close on pace, they're going to be potentially underdogs to take a couple wins this season, if I dare say that, because their pace at the moment on this game is very, very fast. And in a hectic race, I could easily see them getting in there and scoring some very, very decent points for the constructor and potentially take a good finish in the Constructors' Championship.
No, yeah, again, I agree with that, because, they know each other so well. So, and I think in my experience, that does normally help you as a team. It means you're less likely to argue with each other, and in general, it does tend to have a better dynamic. So that's something to really look at for this season, of course, those two as a pairing. And, they both, if we have a Azerbaijan 2017 style race, like we saw in real F1, I think they could. If we have a couple of leaders take each other out, they're in for a podium, I think. So yeah, I'm going to quickly move us on to the next team, which is a Renault F1 team, which of course consists of Vapid Coot 74 and me, Anti Beacon. I won't talk about myself too much, so I'll definitely let you two cover this one.
Yeah, so I'll start again. This pairing's interesting because obviously you're in it and you're really bad, so therefore it's going to be funny to see how bad you do.
Getting a tea out.
I think that this pairing's interesting because Vapid and yourself, Antiv, you were both extremely fast in the time trials compared to probably what people expected of you, especially in last season, and more so Vapid, if anything, because Vapid was a midfield runner last season, Tier 1. Time trials, he was third position, 7 times away from Jolly, I'll admit, but still, third position is extremely, extremely good for a driver that was midfield last season in Tier 1. And if I think you were fourth, and in last season, you were scoring consistent points when you did a race with a podium there in Britain.
Yeah, we don't talk about last season.
But I think you have pace, and what this game shows could well mean you have more pace. And I think this pairing between you and Vapid could well be interesting. And I think you'll probably end up be rivaling. You'll be in between, I reckon, Red Bull and Ferrari for the constructors. Just looking at your lineups at the moment, but obviously we don't know how they're performing race pace. Anybody so far?
Yeah, and looking at the time trials back again, only 400s between the pair of you, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting. We may well see, I guess, Max Verstappen, Daniel Ricciardo kind of dynamic in the team. Would you want to say?
Potentially.
Yeah. So I think, looking at the standings from last season, you guys, well, Anti obviously doing better than Vapid, but still, that's due to some retirements from Vapid's side. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this pairing over the course of this season.
I suppose I could give myself give you my input on this pairing. So this is me and Vapid with our third season as teammates in RFL now. We started at Mercedes, went to Ferrari, and now we're at Renault. I think it's fair to say we both very much want to beat each other, and I'm going to try my real hardest to not take him out at turn 1 this time round, like I did in the social race. That was a bit of a... He was on my inside, I didn't know he was there, and it ended a bit bad. But I think there's definitely a real rivalry between us two there, so it is, I think, the first goal of the season is to beat each other.
Just a friendly nudge, that's all.
Yeah. That's all it was. Right, okay, so we'll move on to the next team. That is Rich Energy Haas F1 team, or Haas F1 team, whatever they are now. We have TOR Pepsi and LCR Woomson. There, I don't really know much about these two, so if any.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
Well, I do.
Okay. Right, yeah, you can take this, Steffi.
Obviously, neither of them raced last season, but TR Pepsi have raced in RFL before. I'm not sure about Brunson if he's raced in RFL before, but this was probably way back in season 1 or season 2 that this happened, definitely not last season. But they're both decent drivers. They both have pace. And Brunson's actually admitted to the RFL account online that he believes he's going to be the number 2 driver, despite being faster in the time trials. But I think they're not going to be challenging for any sort of championships this season. Looking at the time trial, they're 10th and 19th. I know that at the back end of the 18 game, or at least midway through the 18 game, Pepsi was struggling a little bit with the game. And I think he was struggling for pace in the league that I commentated with him. But maybe on 2019, he's refound a bit of form. He's got into Tier 1, which is a good step. And potentially now he can make some sort of challenge to potentially break into that midfield, potentially even break into the top half of the field as well. But at the moment, I think his aim is just to score a couple of points. And maybe same with Wimbledon, but maybe a little bit more. But obviously, I'm just looking at the time trials. Their race pace could be completely different.
Yeah. And of course, for example, I know, like me, I didn't try exceptionally hard in time trials. I'm not saying those times are completely unrepresentative, but I could have gone faster. And that's the thing. The time trial system, we get an idea of roughly where you are, but we don't quite know. So, of course, anyone in Tier 1 here, and their race pace could be completely different to what we expect it to be, just based off of time trial. So, really, if we're given that we don't know too much about these drivers in RFL necessarily, apart from obviously Pepsi 2 seasons ago, then yeah, they could really mix it up, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Go on.
No, you go.
Well, I just wanted to say that yeah, I don't know. I can't find Pepsi on the standings, but I believe he did race last season. So yeah, like you guys mentioned, I guess because uh, is Bumson new to the league? I
Yeah,
believe he
both of
is.
them are new to the league from last season. They didn't race last season, but I'm not
Ah,
sure whether Bush
right.
raced before. Pepsi did race before.
Yeah. Okay. So no wonder it sounded a little bit familiar, but yeah, I can't obviously comment too much because I don't really know much about them. So I guess you guys can carry on.
Yep. Okay, so yeah, I think good to move on to the next team then. That is McLaren, greatest team, and now this is a real of a bit of a statement team here. Danny F31, of course, season 2 champion.
2 champion.
Yes, and
Yep.
Ian Boy 87, who's also a very quick driver. So those two get on very well, don't they?
Yep, we've seen them as teammates last season as well in the Mercedes, where they finished second in the constructors. So that was good work from them as well, and they're going to want to kick on again because Danny, he's going to want to be championship contender. Didn't do that in the time trials, but I expect him to be right up there when the season begins. Ian Boy, he started off season 2 very strongly, tailed off quite a bit then, and he's never really found his form until the back end of last season. Let's just read through his results. So he was at the start of the season, he was out the points, just getting into them, and then Britain fourth, Germany third, Japan third, and then he had 2 poor races at Brazil and Italy. But he picked up those results at the end, and that's a really good sign from Ian Boy. And now, if he translates that into pace on 2019, I can expect Ian Boy to be helping Danny in the constructors, and these guys will be challenging for the constructors and potentially drivers as well. And that will be an amazing dynamic as well. Danny versus Ian Boy for the constructors and for the drivers.
Yeah, for sure. All right, everybody,
Yeah. Ian Boyd, well, this season in the time trials, doing better than Danny. So, whereas opposed to the standings, Danny finished ahead of Ian Boy. So maybe Ian Boy found a little bit of pace, but yeah, like you guys mentioned countless amount of times, race pace and quali pace is, race pace and one lap pace is two completely different things. And yeah, we'll see how this pairing shapes up for the rest of this season.
Yeah.
They finished second last season, didn't they? Yeah.
As a team, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, so
And then obviously, Danny, I was going to quickly say Danny finished third in the title, but then Leopard, we don't really know whether to count him. So third or second in the title, whatever you want to say, with a really intense battle at the end of the season with Antsmaz. He could well have been champion last season without that collision with Boris Box back in Brazil, the infamous incident there, which
bit of controversy.
we're not going to get into now, but it was controversial. And it could have cost Danny the title. He will be looking for redemption this season.
That's true. Right, so we'll move on to the next team. Sport Pezzo Racing Point Formula 1 team. That's Rampage and PMT Bridge teaming up for this season. That's really... I don't know what to make of this team. I don't know what to expect. I don't know whether to expect consistent points or lower end of the grid. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a stab in the dark, really.
In the nicest way possible, I see this team being a lower mid-table team. Like, I mean, they're both good. Like, I know they're quicker than me because I'd probably be sort of a high tier 2, low tier 1 if I did time trial. Don't know what I would be, but like they're better than me. But I think at the moment, looking at the time trial pace and just what I know of them and how I've seen them perform in the past, I can't really see this team going too far. I can see it maybe potentially scrapping for points occasionally, but I don't see it getting anything consistent, if I'm totally honest here. But then again, Briz got some good points last season.
Yeah.
Every race he finished except one, he was in the points. Well, Rampage, I just need to find him on my list.
Yeah.
I think he was in
Tier
tier
2?
2. No, he wasn't.
No, it was tier 1.
I'm sure, I can't find him on my list. Oh yeah, no, I've got him.
Oh, yeah.
He retired from a lot of races, 6 races last season, out of the 9 that he took part in. So, I mean, if he can actually get some consistent running, maybe he can get low points, and then obviously same with Briz. And I think if they can just consistently score these low points, they'll be happy coming out this season.
Yeah. I know from experience in the races, Briz does pop up every now and again, and he has some really good pace. If he can really nail that qualifying lap, because his race pace is all right. It just really depends on where he's starting, from what I've seen.
Yeah, his highest finish last season was 4th in Germany. I don't necessarily remember what happened in that race, but I'm pretty sure he was really on it that weekend, and he had some good pace, and I think he got good qualifying, which led to that good result. So if he can nail qualifying, then potentially he can get some strong points for his team.
Yep. So, all right. Have you got anything to add to that, or you're just going to move on?
Yep, you guys covered it, so we're moving on.
Right, so next team, Alfa Romeo Racing. We have ERL, Antsmaz, and BMG Clenzo. That's a...
Ooh.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
a team, yeah. So, 2, I've got to say, especially on this game, very good drivers in there. That's a... we're going to see, I think it's more than fair to say we're going to see some Alphas up front this season. Not necessarily winning, but top 5, top 6. I think that's more than fair to say, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the lineup I'm most excited for.
Yeah.
2 reasons. First of all is the obvious one. We got this last season's champion there, running car number 1. He will be on a mission. He wants to attain his crown. Doesn't want anybody else to get his hands on it. You got Jolly, you got Liam, you got Danny, who will all be going for it this season. Anselmas does not want to give that up. And he's got the support of a surprise at the moment from what I've seen. Last season, Cleanser was in tier 2, and his highest result, if I can find it, was only 5th place. He achieved that 2 times, and then he finished every race except 1, but he finished out the points twice, and he was not really anywhere, to be honest. He was not a quick driver last game, but now,
all of a sudden,
the time trials, he was 5th place. So he's gone from being 5th in tier 2 to 5th in tier 1.
And in the social
I'm really
as
excited
well.
to see what he can do.
Yeah, in the social race as well. Sorry for interrupting. He was really good as well. So, and he was up there with Damon, and they were both running around together, and they had some really good pace, top 5, top 6 driving around. So that's gonna be something to really look out for, I've got to say.
Yeah, we'll find out later on because we did one to watch. I might as well reveal it now. He is my one to watch this season. I'm so excited to see what he can do because he's really shocked me in time trials. He's shocked me with his pace so far this game. Working alongside Season 3 champion, that could help his development as well, giving tips and setups and stuff. That could help his pace. And this season could be very successful for the Alfa Romeo racing team.
For sure, yeah. You have an established champion and an established front runner, especially in recent form in Antsmaz. And this effectively newcomer to Tier 1 who could potentially be scoring good points. So, yeah, really exciting team, that.
Yeah, and looking at the standings once again, Clenzo, pretty consistent. And 6-7s, 5-6-7s, and the odd 9. So, yeah, I wouldn't count him out. Last season, I think he put up some great battling. At least watching from the commentary box, and yeah, I'm interested. Well, not interested. I am looking forward to see what he can pull off over the course of this season and his progression over the course of the 2018 game to the 2019 game. Well, so far, according to time trails,
Yeah.
looks pretty good to
I
me.
just want to quickly mention, 'cause I've just seen it in the YouTube live chat.
Okay.
F1 Hot Lap, thank you for pointing this out. Time trial times are set on the old update, so
That's
before
true,
1.05, where the
yeah.
handling
Oh,
will
yeah.
change. The
Yeah.
pace now, the potential pace could be a little bit different for each driver, but I think generally their pace won't change too much, but it could well change completely. So just have to bear that in mind now before we carry on.
Yeah, it
A
is
pinch
really
of salt,
solid.
I guess.
So you really look at, because of course even the time trial, like it's changed by over a second a lap at tracks like Silverstone, so it's completely changed. And maybe some drivers are really going to suit this new handling, basically extra grip we've been given, and some really won't. So yeah, that is a very valid point.
Yeah, so thank you F1 Hot Laps for
Yeah.
pointing that out, because because that could really change things. So let's just discuss that for a moment.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think it will change anything? I know personally, I've only played a couple of laps on the game.
I don't
since
know.
1.05,
I
so
think
away.
I think
don't
what's
like it.
happened. I think what's happened is, to me driving it, it still feels incredibly similar. Just somehow I'm pulling out an extra second a lap. I have personally. I know some people might have felt it a lot more, but personally, I really haven't felt much of a change. But my pace seems all right. So I don't know. I don't know.
Well, obviously, I'm not gonna be the best person to be doing time trials, obviously, but yeah, the last person you want to be doing time trials is me. But yeah, well, little patches here and there could mean a lot in terms of the handling. A little tenth of a second here and there, more grip through some corners, and it can gain you a lot. So yeah, that is a very, very good point. And yeah, um, thank thank you to the comment. This is why we have to
Yeah.
chat to get a discussion going.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So I think we're good to move on, are we?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. So next team. We've only got one more after this. Red Bull Toro Rosso Honda. That's SRO Ninjas, a very quick driver. Grumpy Line, again, a very quick driver. So that's another fairly exciting lineup there that could really, depending on their race pace, throw up some surprising results.
Yep, I would agree with that as well, because last season, Grumpy Line, he didn't really do much. He was a reserve. He entered 3 times, and he didn't score any points, including a not qualifying. I think that's because of the restart in Austria. So he was
Yes,
at
it was,
Austria,
yeah.
but that mess of a race kind of led to him not actually scoring any points.
Yeah.
And then, but on the other hand, Ninja's season 1 champion. Season 2, he returned halfway through in the nicest way possible. He wasn't with it. He wasn't back where he used to be, especially with the new game at that point, the 2018. But then season 3, he was pretty good, I'll be honest. He got a podium, but he was consistently scoring points when he did turn up. He had 2 retirements and a non-score in China. So I think Ninjas is one we need to watch out for in a good way, because he had that development from season 2 to season 3, and we know he had the potential from season 1. So what can he do this season then? If we look at time trials, I haven't checked where he is. He's 15th, so he's not rapid, but I think with race pace, he could be very quick. Ninjas has always been one which probably does that more on the race than qualifying from what I've seen of him. So I think he's still one to watch yet.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so right, fair enough. Yeah, Ninjas race. I know for a fact he's an incredibly hard battler. We had Germany when he came back. I was quite a bit quicker, but he did incredibly well, keeping me behind for so long. Ruined my race in the process, be it, but still, nonetheless, it was exceptional driving to keep me behind. And when I got ahead, he got past again. So, it's just this racecraft from Ninjas that really does excite me. And I've been racing Lion just earlier today. Actually, I wouldn't call it the cleanest bit of racing you'd ever seen, but that's an understatement. It was. There'd be a lot of qualifying bans. It would go on for the rest of the season, but he had some really good race pace, and he was again a really really hard battler. So if we could just maybe clean it up a little bit, it would be a brilliant fight.
Yeah, well, will to wheel. So that's all we want to see, really. So bring it on.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So last team in Tier 1, that one team that just drives around at the back a lot. But I don't think this pairing is going to be doing much of that. We have Jolly and Flying Rosie. Well, these two don't really need much of an introduction. Flying Rosie sort of does to RFL a bit, but he's been there about. We haven't seen his best in RFL.
I think I'm going to say it now. Constructors champions.
Yeah,
I
I
can
think
see that easily
a safe
happening.
guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jolly, fastest in time trials, fastest in the pre-season race and won it.
Yeah.
And then Rosie, he entered for a few races at the end of last season as a reserve, and 2 races, Brazil, Italy, third, second. Very good introduction. And I think if he can replicate that through other tracks on this game, which he didn't have the time trial pace to do so, but he could have just been going into Tier 1 and not doing any more, he could well potentially compete for the championship. And we could see a Jolly versus Rosie championship battle between the team, and that could make it very interesting, having an inter-team rivalry, like we mentioned, potentially with McLaren, not McLaren, Ferrari, actually a McLaren as well, and potentially Red Bull as well. These inter-team rivalries are possible, and I think Williams is one where it could definitely be possible, but for the championship.
Sure, yeah.
Looking at time trials, well, there's a bit of a gap between Jolly and Rosie, to be fair. But if Rosie can, because of last season's results, well, he didn't attend most of the races apart from the final 2, but it's a third and a second place. So after not attending, how many races is that? Like 9? No, my maths isn't the best, but yeah. 2 podiums back to back. I think, we'll keep an eye on Rosie as well. Jolly, obviously, top of the time trials. Well, needs no much introduction.
Yeah, he really doesn't.
So,
right.
Yeah.
I just want to say, if you had to say right now, your driver's champion for Tier 1 and your constructor's champion for Tier 1, who is it going to be?
Shall I go first? I'll go first. So I've already said the constructors champion, Williams, and I mentioned I think it'll be a Jolly versus Rosie, potentially, not will be, potentially a Jolly versus Rosie battle. And I think Jolly will win the Tier 1 championship. But then again, I think you've got both Ferraris, both McLarens, and maybe both Red Bulls who could sneak in there, potentially even both Renaults. So there's many people who can contend for wins, but I think that championship is looking favourable for Jolly at the moment.
Yeah. All right.
Tier 1 champion. Well, I've gone for Antmaz. So Antmaz is in the I'm
Alpha.
lost now.
Oh yeah,
Alpha.
Alpha. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, it's in the Alpha.
Yeah.
So Alpha as well.
Yeah.
Well, the constructors, I'm also calling it Alpha. So maybe an all Italian. Well, not all Italian, but yeah, it may be Alfa Romeo's season this time, and with a new driver, just coming up the ranks, doing well early on, having the form, and pairing up with the last season champion, I don't see why not.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree with that. Right. If I had to say who is champion, I would first of all want to say I think this is probably a 3-way fight between Jolly, Danny, and Antmaz. I want to say that for a start, and I think it could realistically be any of the 3. But I'm going to go and say Danny, because season 2, of course, he was there. He won it. Season 3, he was just about there, but the Brazil controversy after contact with Boris Letterbox, that was not a good day, I think it's fair to say, for himself. I think potentially if he's there again and he's on time trial at quite a few of the tracks, he's really shown he has some really, really good pace. Not necessarily in the time trials for the qualification for RFL, but he really did have some serious pace at other tracks I've seen him do. So I think potentially Danny for Drivers' Champion, and there's again a couple notable mentions for constructors. You have Williams, you have Alpha. I'd say they're really the main two there. Yeah, I'd say they're really the main two. But Rosie, I don't know, he just hasn't been able to quite perform in RFL, and if he could really get his positions, his finishing position a bit better, I think they're definitely ones to compete for it. But then again, it depends on Clenzo's pace. If Clenzo's able to perform at what we think he possibly can, they'll win it. It basically is going to depend on basically which one of the air quote number 2 drivers end up performing best. So if I had to put money on it, I'm going to say Alpha.
Oh.
And that was the longest selection of 2 words I've ever had to do. We'll move on to just a quick overview of Tier 1. We have the full entry list there. I'll just quickly leave that on screen for a second. So, of course, a couple of really strong lineups in there. Yeah. So I'll now move on. We're going to look at Tier 2, which, of course, is saying our rate's a little bit better at, since he's been commentating them. He obviously knows them a lot better. So, the first pairing in Mercedes we have is Paraquix, and I believe that's Dan 23, I believe that says. Yes, it does. So what do you think of those two?
Well, Paraquix, I remember him from season 2, I believe. I'm not sure if he took part in season 3.
Yeah, I'm not 100% certain. Is he on the standings?
I don't think so. Yeah, I can't really find him.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
Yeah. Let's just say he returned, I guess, to RFL.
Yeah.
In a way. Yeah, but even that, I couldn't really judge his pace because I remember, well, from memory, if it serves me correctly, he was up in P5, I think, around there, challenging with the likes of Dark Predator,
Yeah.
I want to say. But I think from the transition, once again, of the new old game to new game, may have caught him out a little bit. In the time trials, well, Paraquix is at, well...
Is he on there?
Is he on there?
Yeah, I can't see him on. I don't know.
Okay, but, well, I guess, even though we can't find, even though we can't really see the time trials, but even though I think, judging from memory, he is one to watch in Tier 2 because I think he has the potential to try and possibly battle for the lead of the championship. Well, Dan, I can't, I have no right to say where he is. So, any of you guys know him?
No, I've actually never heard of him. I don't think.
No.
No.
Okay.
I think, let me just check. I think he might have entered 1 or 2 races last season in Tier 2, but I will have to double check that now. I'll do that now.
Okay.
No, he didn't.
Okay. Right.
No, right.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't really know what to expect from him.
No.
I don't really know what to expect from Paraquix personally. They're 2 drivers that could be anywhere this season. As if I just quickly pop over to the time trial sheet. Yeah, they're not actually on the time trial sheet because they didn't actually do it in time. So no idea what to expect from them.
Okay, so right, we're going to, again, move on really quick because I want to get through Tier 2 a little bit quicker than Tier 1. But, of course, we're going to give them time on it. So, Ferrari, we have XJO576 and Adam Lee. What do you think of these? Adam Lee, he was in Tier 1 a couple of seasons back before leaving.
Yeah, Mark, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I would quickly go first. Joe looks strong, looks solid in time trials. Adam Lee, he's been in the league since season 1. He's been in and out a little bit, but I think he's got a decent chance to do some stuff. He was quite low down the time trials, but I think give him time, settle in. I think he'll be quick this season, and I think he'll be one to watch.
Yeah. Adam. Yeah. Watching him race before, he can be quick on a good day. He can be solid. So if Joe, well, strong on the time trials like Mark's mentioned, and yeah, if these two can help each other out in a way, both get into a rhythm, practicing, that they could be a strong pairing as well.
Yeah, indeed they can. Right, so move on to Red Bull now. Panda Pachita, still never sure how to say that, and Scott W281004. They're teamed up for the season. So what do you think of those two?
Are they new to RFL?
I've seen Panda Pachita around before.
Both of them have been, but didn't RFL. But I think they're both there in their first full season.
Ah, right, okay.
Okay.
So
nice.
yeah, we can't really say too much about them then. So these are of course two new drivers, and I know Scott. He I think this is the same Scott, which I believe it is.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, good. All right. Yeah, he has some pace. Realistically, tier 2. I don't know how he shapes up against a lot of these because I don't know the pace personally of a lot of these drivers. It's quite a bit easier to do tier 1, but again, you're never really quite sure of tier 2 until it starts, really.
Yeah, it's pretty unpredictable, I would say.
Yeah.
Anything can happen, and they're pretty close in time trials, so we'll see how they match up against each other in the inter-team battle.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll move on swiftly to Renault. That's Salzig Dustin and Beast Tornadoes. Beast Tornadoes, for one, I know he's fairly quick, isn't he?
I think Beast Tornadoes is now tier 1 reserve, and I think another quick cheater is in that seat.
Yeah, I'd like
Don't
to quickly...
quote me on that, I could be wrong.
I'd like to quickly say, this thing that is on screen right now, we've had a bit of movement and a bit of controversy in a certain tier 2 chat. So a fair amount of such as the McLaren team is not very accurate. A couple of these drivers have moved. We've got a couple of new ones just because we had to do a bit of a move around the admins over the off season really. So yeah, not all of this is incredibly accurate. But actually, yeah, saying that I think these Tornadoes might have moved up to tier 1 as a reserve.
Yeah. And I do want to say also the tier 1 was correct. The tier 1
yeah, tier 1 was correct. Yeah. Nothing has changed over. Simply, all we've got really is a couple of tier 2 people have left, and we have a couple of new reserves for tier 1 and tier 2. So 90% of what you're seeing is accurate. Just certain bits of it are not. So we'll move on to Haas. That one is 100% accurate. We have Tom Gorian and label Red Devil in the Haas. What do we think of those?
Well, Joe, I'll just start because I've raced with Tom and I saw Label Red Devil last season commentated. This is a team I know a lot about because I know both drivers. Label Red Devil, last season, tier 1. He's now down to tier 2. He'll be looking to perform well and get back up to tier 1 for next season, or maybe even the first day races if he performs extremely well. But I think he's got a bit of challenge. I don't think he's going to be able to do that. Tom Gorian, however, he had an okay season. He's always been there or thereabouts, but he's never formed a consistent challenge. He's want to do that this season. He's want to probably go for the championship or something, potentially just a couple race wins. He needs to get that. He needs to start performing consistently because at the moment he's very up and down between tracks. And I think he's just got to try and get some consistency to form some sort of championship challenge this season.
Yeah, Tom obviously looking quite consistent, but he needs to do better if he wants to he got a very good standout performance in Japan, finished P4. Well, actually in Brazil he got P2. So yeah, if he can rank up his performance, I don't see why not. He can't do well this season. And label Red Devil from tier 1, from a tier 1, you would expect him to have a decent pace in tier 2. So yeah, I'm not counting him out as well.
No. Okay, so we'll move on not to McLaren because that is 100% wrong.
McLaren, you know the drivers.
Do you know them?
Let me get...
No.
Yeah, it is. Well, I was told Actually, I know Axe Curve's in it.
Okay,
That's
yes.
Curve. Okay.
who Alfie is, so
Yeah.
I just know Axe Curve's in
Okay,
it.
so
So
yeah, he's
and I can,
quick driver.
I think Tier 2 winner. Tier 2 Season 2 champion, I want to say.
yes, that is
Yeah.
correct. Last season he wasn't with it. A bit slower than he was in the previous season, whether everyone just caught up or he lost pace. I'm not sure, but he did get 4 podiums last season, and I think if he can do that again this season, he's going to be right up there, challenging potentially for the championship and for good results, and potentially McLaren can really take a championship charge for the constructors.
Yeah,
Yeah,
obviously
indeed.
something you'd like to see. So, should we move on to what is Racing
Racing
Point?
Point.
This is a fairly fun team here. S. Perez, 68, and Alpha Arti.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yes.
Perez.
Yeah.
Oh, Tom, you wanna go? Not Tom.
There you go.
Martz. Okay, I'll go then. Well, Perez, obviously. Well, judging by the name, you probably tell a very big fanboy. But yeah, going to last season's standings, he couldn't get into the grips with the game, and I think this season at least, for his sake, I hope. Well, he's fastest in the time trials for Tier 2, so that's a good sign for him. Probably he has a good pace on this game with the new physics and handling. Alpha RT, obviously, I think he did not participate in racing for last season,
He
did
didn't
he?
probably
Yeah, that's true.
last
Yeah.
season, no.
Yeah, so 34th overall in the time trial sheet, but looks like if he can keep it together, I've seen him race before. He's pretty clean, and at occasions he will have the pace. So I'm looking forward to see what he can pull off in the Racing Point alongside Perez.
I think personally this is a good pairing because Perez is he's
It's
adapted
a
to
safe
the
pairing, isn't it?
game.
It is,
Yeah, he's also he also obviously is a fanboy of Racing Point. He's his own car, but then also he's fastest in Tier 2. He was in Tier 1. He's on a new game now. I think he's got a chance to really just cement his place now in the league. Potentially go to Tier 1 next season and push for more. But at the moment, I think he wants to cement his place in Tier 2. Maybe push himself a bit further, which he could well easily do. And also coach Artie. Artie hasn't played the game in over a year because he didn't get
that
F1
is true.
2018. And that could put Artie at a disadvantage for the season. And Perez could well be the perfect coach to get Artie right back up front. And we could well see Racing Point potentially battling for a good position in the constructors, with Perez potentially for the championship, and then Alpha Artie just scoring some good points.
Yes, indeed. Right. So, as far as I'm aware, Alfa Romeo is accurate. Zingy the Boss and Drift King Pro.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, what do you expect of these two then?
Zingy the Boss is good. I've seen him race before, but he can get a lot of penalties. Something to watch out for. And in the time trials, he wasn't rapid. Drift King Pro, no idea. I mean, his time trial wasn't like fast compared to other people in the tier, but he could shock us. I don't know. I don't really know what to expect from him. I've never seen him race before. He's an unknown to me.
Yeah, same here. Same here. Because well, all I know is Zingy. Yeah, from last season, he racked up a few podiums, a few no-shows. That probably is why he was lower in the standings. But if he can, get consistent and pull off some good results, and keep showing up pretty much, I think he could be a contender for the championship. Well, in terms of Drift King Pro, the time trials, don't really say too much, but let's see if he can progress his way up. If take the challenge and see if he can put himself up in the standings, how far up he can go.
Yeah. Okay. So I think Toro Rosso is correct as well. We have Cheesy Train and the Best Hit as a team, and now I've heard of Cheesy Train, but I've never heard of the Best Hit, and I don't know what either of their paces are like. So if any of you do,
No, I'm sorry.
Well,
No, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure Cheesy trained do any races last season. I don't think he
I
did.
don't know.
No,
But
I don't think so.
He didn't. I was tracked. But the moment his pace is alright. I think he's going to be a midfield runner, a solid midfield runner looking at his pace. But that's time trial. Remember, time trial's not always representative. But he seems like a consistent midfield runner. He can always improve. He can find some pace, potentially challenge. Best hit, though, he's about 7 seconds off overall 3 tracks behind Perez. And most of that comes in the wet. So I think he might struggle this season. And I think he's aiming for progression this season and something more next season if he decides to stay. So he'll be aiming just to get settled in, improve on his own pace, and then he can push for some points in the following season. I think this is just an introduction this season into league racing for him, and he'll improve in the future.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That is very true.
So, I think Williams is accurate as of the moment, which is Reese Simo LFC and Shazoo Kingley D18. So.
Yep. I'll go first. So I think Reese, I don't really know what to expect from him.
No.
He's lower down the time trials, but I don't really know what to expect. He could well pull off something. I've seen him race well before, so we'll have to see how he does.
Yeah.
But then Kingley was very quick last season in Tier 2. He didn't set time trial time, so he got promoted to a Tier 2 full time because some people left, and also there was space for him to do so. He would have been in Tier 3 otherwise, which now has been postponed because of not enough people, and just we want reserves anyway, so we get full attendance. But Kingley, someone we don't really know what to expect this season. We don't know his pace on this game. It could be quick, could be slow. I'm not sure. I mean, I expect him to be quick. But how quick?
He's been a quick driver in the past, yeah.
Yeah, you would expect him to be quick. So, yeah. Overall, this pairing still a bit unknown, but Reese, I believe I've seen him before somewhere, and I think he can put up a good performance if he's on it. And yeah, so I think this pairing, well, they could be a good challenge for probably the midfield, I would say. Maybe just lower a bit, but yeah, let's see what they can pull off.
Yeah. All right. So that concludes Tier 2. So right, I'd say who do you guys think is going to be? I'll do the same thing with Tier 1: Constructors Champion and Drivers Champion in this tier.
I'll go first.
Yep.
I didn't really think about this. I was kind of put on the spot. I'm going to say... I don't know. This one's a tough one. There's no really teams that stand out to me.
No.
I'm going to say, just because Axel's now in that McLaren, and I think he's going to be one of the quickest, it's going to be him and Kingley going for the drivers. So I think I'm going to say it's going to be either McLaren or Williams for the constructors. I'm just going to say McLaren because I'm not sure who the teammate is. They could be quick.
That's a fair point.
And Kingley for the drivers.
Okay. All right.
Well, for my prediction, I put Quicks because I think he gone from Tier 1 before and he's gone back. But looking at the time trials, I think I might change it. I think I will go for someone like, I don't know, label Red Devil, because he's been in Tier 1 before and his pace we roughly know what his pace is going to be like. So maybe I'll just go with label Red Devil.
Yeah.
And the constructors, though. Constructors, I would probably say Renault, because I think Dustin, because he's shown good pace before, and I've seen it. And when he does rack it up, he's pretty much untouchable. Beast, I know for a fact that he can be quick, and yeah, I'll just stick with that then.
Yep.
Hold on, can I just change mine? I'm going to say Perez, actually. I completely forgot about him. He's rapid, he's proven a point. I think he's going to win the season.
Okay.
Yeah, don't count Perez out as well. Yeah. Time trial, absolutely smashed it.
I'm going to try to be a bit quicker on it this time, but I do want to say there's several drivers really who could be in with this. We have drivers like Kingley, Zingy, I'd say probably, of course, Perez. We don't know what Adam Lee's going to be able to do. He was a fairly solid driver in Tier 1 before he left the game and came back. So if I had to take a quick
that is
guess
true.
at it, I'd probably go with Kingley in the Williams as a guess. But again, that could turn out anyway for the drivers. I would say that. And then I think for I think I'm going to go with Morgs for the McLaren for constructors, because if Axkov has a good teammate there, that's a really, really solid team. As Axkov, I want to mention him for the Drivers' Championship as well. So yeah, I think I'll go with McLaren.
Yeah, watches all just go completely wrong.
I know, yeah. Tier 2 is incredibly unpredictable. It has been every single time I've commentated it. I've done it a couple of times for RFL, and every time I've watched it in general, you never know who's going to win, even if there's 3 laps left and someone's winning by 20 seconds. It could genuinely go either way. So, before we started all this stream, before we embarked on this rather exciting hour-long venture, I asked Morgs and R8, and I also answered myself, the top 3 from each tier, and the one to watch in the league. So, I'll start with me, because I'm on the left-hand side. That's just how we do it here. Tier 1, I've put, I think, Jolly, potentially champion. Danny F31 in second, and King Liam in third. That's just a sort of guess. All of these are probably going to be quite wrong. Tier 2, S. Perez, Zingy the Boss, and Paraquix as a top 3. And my one to watch is Grumpy Lion. Given what I've seen of him so far, he could potentially really surprise us in Tier 1. So that's something I really want to look out for. So, Morgs, you put for Tier 1, Jolly, Ant Smaz, and King Liam.
Yep.
Tier 2, you put as 1, 2, 3, Kingly Diagram, S. Perez, and Paraquix. And then your one to watch was Clenzo. So what do you think of that?
Well, I mean, I mentioned it before. I just said he's my one to watch this season. He shocked me in his pace on this game so far. He went from being highest result 5th Tier 2 last season to 5th now in time trials. Yes, time trials not fully representative, only representative of quality pace. But if he transfers that to race pace, even if it's not as quick as his time trial pace represents, it'll be a huge turnaround from last season and last game. And it'll be impressive to see. And I want to see now this further progression throughout the season. And it's what I want to see this weekend, to see how he does, and with Tier 1, this newfound pace, whether he can cope with the pressure with it, or whether he's still got more work to do to improve, and this pace is a bit like on just time trial, just kind of make it look better than it is. I want to see how he does, because it's going to be very interesting to see.
Yeah, no, he is definitely one to watch. I agree with that. If I had sort of a top 2, it would be Grumpy Lion and Clenzo. They're the 2 that I'm really focusing on this season. So, okay, you said Tier 1, King Liam, Jolly in second, and Ant Smaz third. Tier 2, Paraquix first, Shazoo Schweiz, but of course he's actually left, so we don't really,
Yeah.
Obviously you didn't know that. Zingy the Boss third, and then your one to watch was Callum G, so, yeah. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, Callum finished third in last year's standings for last season standings in Tier 2, and he's same as Clenzo, I believe, jumped into Tier 1 this season. So
both Tier 2
same thing like what Morg said pretty much. Can we see their progression, see how they do, stacking up against the top in the league, and see what the new quote-unquote new boys can do. And let's see what they can pull off.
I very much agree with that. So there's a lot of people. Basically, what we've concluded from this stream, we've got the overview for all. This is effectively our season preview. So the main things that we can expect from this season, I've got to say, chaotic races. That always happens. Probably more often than not in RFL, I'll be honest. We've got to love some controversy. Brazil, Boris Letterbox, Danny. That was a moment. The championship defining moment as well. They've been battling hard all race and contact. So there you go. And really, we have concluded we, as a collective group, have absolutely no clue who's going to do incredibly well or who's going to be awful, to be honest.
Can I just say something quickly? Sorry.
Yeah.
Can I just stress? I don't think we highlighted it.
Yeah.
These predictions on screen now are our thoughts on this weekend's Australian. This is not the championship or anything.
Okay.
And the one to watch is who we want to see this weekend, not throughout the season.
Cool.
Right.
That's what I thought it was at the start, but then you started mentioning it like it was okay. Right. Cool. Brilliant.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. No, because that's what I thought it was at the start. Okay. Right. We're gonna go past that. Yeah. So actually,
we'll gloss over that one.
Yeah, we're gonna gloss over the fact that I'm a moron. There you go. We sort of knew that, didn't we? Right. So yeah, there's not really, unless any of you have something you'd really like to add before the season starts. Just before, basically, calm before the storm at the moment. Anything that any of you want to predict, say, what have you?
Huge crash in Tier 1, Tier 2.
Yeah. Safety car will come out. Tier 1? Any?
Tier 1. I've got to say, I'm expecting myself to win. Just like to say. Easy 20-second victory. Vapid second. I'll lap him, though, because he's awful. And, yeah, it'll be a really good race.
Intense battle.
Yeah.
You gotta have that.
Right. So, yeah. Do you want to do really quickly a sort of like weekend preview, like a shorter thing, or do you want to wrap up?
I don't mind. Yeah, let's do a weekend preview.
I'm up for it. Okay, so we've got our top threes here then for this weekend. I've done mine in a way, not including Antsmas, who I feel is going to be up there in championship, because I am of similar pace to him in the practice sessions we've done, and I don't think I'm going to be in the podium. That's literally my only reasoning. I might be underestimating myself in this, I don't know. But we're roughly the same pace in practice, and we've had some good scraps, so I hope we can continue that into this weekend. Yeah.
Yep, I think for me, with my predictions, especially for Tier 1, I've gone quite boring, because I think Johnny at the moment looks quickest. I put Anthmas in there because he's Season 1 champion, Liam because he's quick in time trial, and I thought Danny fourth because he's just quick.
Yeah.
But I just think I've gone too boring here. It's RFL, something stupid always happens.
That is, your top three is going to take each other out on the first lap. You just know it. And then I could win back.
I mean, I got the same top three as Morg, so well,
just different order.
Then.
Yeah.
I think
it's great then.
I think, to be honest, though, the three drivers in my top three plus Danny are the ones going to be fighting for the championship.
Yeah,
maybe we'll see some more get in there, but I think those three and Danny are the main contenders at this moment right now. Could always change though, and anybody really that we discussed in Alfa Romeo, in Williams, in Ferrari, in McLaren, and there was one more team, Red Bull, could well be in there.
Red Bull, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So alright, what are you? Yeah, obviously you're going to be commentating the Tier 2 race, potentially. Am I doing that? Am I doing that? I think I am.
Yeah.
Please do.
Yeah, okay. We don't want you doing 2 races in a row. You'd, probably lose it after a while. Yeah, okay. So me and Ara are going to be doing Tier 2 this weekend. So what do you think of Tier 2 for this weekend, like?
Tier 2. Well, I've gone for Per Quick's. Well, Schweiz is not here. I'll maybe substitute that with someone like Label Red Devil or something. Yeah, Label Red Devil, Perez.
Yeah.
Who else is seems promising? Beast Tornadoes as well. Any of these guys could be challenging. Sorry.
Beast is Tier 1 reserve now. Beast is Tier 1 reserve now.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops. Oh, well, my bad.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention then. So some of these guys definitely very quick and will be interesting to see how the new guys try to see what they can go up against. Who is in the McLaren again? X-Curve, is it?
Yeah, Axcov and an unknown teammate at the moment. We haven't got that information with us. I don't believe.
All right. So, yeah, interesting to see X-Curve, what he can do. Tier 2, Season 2, Tier 2 champion. And if he can, get his mojo back, try to go for another championship.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, Australia, tricky track, easy to go wrong. Anything could happen, and the only way you can see what does happen is by tuning in to the RFL Twitch accounts. Follow us on Twitter at RFL F1 League. If you do happen to be new, I appreciate most of these viewers are going to be the drivers, but someone may stumble across this. So yeah, give that a go, and then on Twitch, obviously you're able to watch. That's all on our Twitter. So, I'd like to thank everybody for sticking with us for what has been probably going to be the longest episode in our, well, until a season preview or mid-season review or whatever. So I'd like to thank you all for bearing with us. Everything we've said is probably going to be chucked out the window come about race 5. And, it's going to be really interesting
the
to see.
first lap of race 1.
Yeah, first lap race 1, and we have the top 5 out. Yeah.
First 5 minutes of qualifying.
Our championship predictions end up qualifying in last, 5 seconds off the pace, and awful race pace.
Yeah.
Although I can't see
The
that happening with
curse.
a lot of them. Yeah, the commentator's curse is already there, and we haven't started yet. We're 2 days away, and we have commentator curse. But anyway, thank you all for bearing with us, as I said. We will now sign off. Anyone have any closing remarks?
Bye.
That's
That's really in depth. That.
well.
Not even a selfish plug.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just watch the race.
Yeah, watch it.
Just watch the race.
Listen to us shout at it, and it'll be good.
Yeah. Share screaming is fine.
Yeah.
We'll just.
The more we shout, the better it is. That's how it works.
Yeah. Really.
Right, I'm going to round it off. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.